Hi guys, it's Megan from Vigilante Vibes, and I come to you today with another character breakdown. And to keep the theme of Pride going, it will be another character of the LGBTQ plus community. So today we have Gwenpool. Gwenpool is such a weird character all around, but in the best way. Just to make it clear, she has no relation to Gwen Stacy, and she's not a mashup of Deadpool and Gwen. Her name is actually Gwendolyn Poole. And when I say she's a weird character, I mean that in every sense of the word. Uh, I'll get into it. You'll understand, I think. So, Gwenpool's first appearance was in Howard the Duck, Volume 6, Number 1, and was released in November of 2015, specifically in a variant cover, was not even in the story itself. The variant cover was produced in a comedic series depicting Spider-Man's deceased girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, in a variety of different personas based on known characters. That cover featured a mashup of Gwen Stacy and Deadpool, part of a series of Gwen-themed variant covers Marvel released at that time. So the cover itself was a mashup of Gwen and Deadpool, but Gwendolyn Poole is her own character. Her first in-story appearance came shortly after in Howard the Duck Volume 6, Number 1, second printing bonus story, and then more prominently in Howard the Duck Number 2 from 2016, where she appeared as an actual character. Her first real comic series, The Unbelievable Gwenpool by Chris Hastings, is generally pretty well liked. It starts off with Gwenpool, a regular woman from the real world, our real world, who ends up stuck in the Marvel universe, and over the first 10 or so issues, it turns into this surprisingly thoughtful take on comic books as a medium, with a weirdly heartwarming look at things like identity and existential dread. In that run, it is revealed that she actively dislikes Deadpool and the style of humor that defines his comics, but chose the name simply because, well, she is Gwendolyn Poole. She is Gwenpool. How does she fit into Pride Month, you ask? Well, in Love Unlimited, she reveals that she is asexual, and then in Marvel Pride Number 1, she is aromantic, or aro ace, which means that she experiences little to no romantic attraction or sexual attraction. She may or may not feel a need to act on these attractions, and she also may experience some other forms of attraction, like platonic or aesthetic attraction. So, Gwenpool used to live in our world, the one where superheroes are just comic book characters, movies, and video games, because our world's so lame when you say it that way, but whatever. After struggling to find a job, thanks to not finishing high school, and watching her friends move away, Gwen kind of checked out. She buried herself in fiction to escape reality, which didn't exactly thrill her parents. At some point, no one's really sure how it happened, but Gwen and her brother Teddy got pulled into the actual Marvel universe. They got separated during the jump, and each thought the other didn't make it. Gwen, not wanting to be just some background character in this new world, went to Big Ronnie's to get a custom fit superhero outfit. The tailor misunderstood her name, thought Gwenpool was her alias, and it just kind of stuck. Her first big move? Stealing a virus from Black Cat and selling it to Hydra for fast cash. Gwen figured, no big deal, the Avengers will clean it up. But when she tried to off Howard the Duck, who was tracking her for Black Cat, he called her out. That was Gwen's wake-up call. The people in this world might have been fictional where she came from, but here they're extremely real. She made things right by teaming up with Howard to take down the Hydra base and destroy the virus. So Gwen needed some cash, right? She ended up becoming a mercenary, snagging gigs from this tailor named Ronnie, the one who gave her the suit. One time she was supposed to take out a toothed-in squadron stationed on Earth, but someone else had already did the job. Gwen being Gwen, she just killed that mercenary and took the credit, which is like, I know she doesn't like Deadpool, but that's the most Deadpool thing I've ever heard. But I digress. Turns out the guy she offed worked for MODOK, who's basically a giant floating head with a mean streak. If you're unfamiliar with the comics, MODOK You can't miss him in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You know who I'm talking about. MODOK tracked Gwen down and, get this, forced her to join his super exclusive mercenary organization dedicated only to killing. He named it after himself. To really twist her arm, MODOK even killed Cecil, a hacker Gwen had befriended who was her mission control, which is rough. Anyway, her new teammates were Batroc the Leaper, Megatoni, and Terrible Eye. All of their names are so different. Very different. At first, Gwen was pretty terrible at the whole mercenary thing. Batroc noticed and actually helped her get better at fighting. The thing is, Gwen had no real background, which meant she couldn't get paid. So she went to Doctor Strange for help. He basically zapped her whole existence from her old universe into this new one. Look at, that's so kind. Now, Gwen was getting paid and getting awesome training from Batroc. But here's the kicker. With her records showing up, MODOK figured out that she was just a regular person with zero actual skills. He confronted her, ready to end her, but thanks to some dumb luck and Batroc's training, Gwen actually fought him off. And Cecil's ghost, the hacker that MODOK killed, even showed up, thanks to Doctor Strange, to help her finally take MODOK down, which is wild. With MODOK out of the picture, Gwen ended up becoming the point person for the team's new client, a seemingly average guy named Vincent Doonan. He used to send missions to MODOK to quietly wipe out threats that didn't fit into his dream of boring, peaceful world. Turns out Doonan was actually a Doombot in disguise. A bunch of alien Tuthidians showed up looking for revenge, blaming Gwen for wiping out one of their squads. Doonan tried to throw her under the bus and hand her over to calm them down. That plan completely flopped. Gwen escaped, rescued her fellow mercs, and with no client left to work for, the team decided to call it quits. Gwen went back to picking up jobs from Ronnie, but didn't get far before she was captured and tossed into the negative zone by an evil clone of Squirrel Girl named Aline Green. Thankfully, the real Squirrel Girl showed up and busted her out just in time for the second superhero Civil War to break out. Since Gwen saw herself as a comic book character, she immediately recognized what was happening as a classic Marvel event. And in her mind, those usually mean bad news for side characters like her. So she pieced out and moved to rural Georgia, hoping to stay off the radar and avoid getting killed. You can say many things about Gwenpool, but that was a smart thing to do. That's more thinking than any comic book character you ever did see. So Gwen teamed up with Rocket Raccoon and Groot to track down an alien fugitive named Chammy and cash in on the bounty. But then they found out that the bounty's real target, Reeve, planned to kill Captain Marvel. Gwen figured maybe the comic book writer of the story actually had the power to kill Carol Danvers, so of course she jumped in to help Rocket and Groot save her. After that, Gwen had a short stint with the Champions, but when they started dealing with regular police brutality and no big supervillain behind it, Gwen got bored and quit. Later, she and her mercenary crew got trapped in a new version of Arcade's Murder World. That's where she teamed up with Deadpool for the first time, which was chaotic, given how similar they are. Oh, and she found a new body for Cecil, a Nordic beast of all things. Cecil, the one who died and whose ghost came back. Meanwhile, Gwen was reunited with her brother Teddy after he got a visit from future versions of Doonan, Terrible Eye, and Spider-Man, who warned him that Gwen was on track to become a major supervillain. Terrible Eye created a pocket universe that recreated Gwen and Teddy's old life and sent them there to protect them from the dark future, wiping Gwen's memory in the process. But Gwen eventually caught on, and thanks to that universe's weird nature plus her comic book know-how, she got reality-bending powers that let her mess with things like panel borders and captions. That power gave her access to the gutter space, that weird in-between space of comics, which also restored her memories and showed her what Teddy had been up to. With Teddy back in tow, Gwen made her way back to the Marvel Universe. Then things got wild, even more wild than they've already been, and they've been pretty wild. An evil future Gwenpool, who'd been stuck in Spider-Man's flashback, broke into the present, trying to make sure that the future happened. She tried convincing Gwen that nothing she did really mattered, so why not just become a villain? But Gwen was not having it. She rejected the future, which caused her evil self to disappear, though it also meant her comics pages count took a hit, bringing her story closer to the end. With her series about to get canceled any minute, Gwen started feeling pretty down. But then a future, nicer version of herself showed up to cheer her up. Using her comic breaking powers, Gwen hopped around visiting her friends, brought Cecil back to human form, even saved Teddy from Mephisto. Before her journey ended, she went back in time one last time to give her younger self some much needed support. So that is Gwenpool, one of the strangest, if not the strangest, character in the Marvel Universe. As always, I have comics for you to check out to get to know her better. There really isn't that much to read about her, but I'm glad she's got another one of her own comic series happening right now. The first issue came out maybe 2 weeks ago. It was a banger of a first issue, too, so you got to check it out. So for the comics I have, Unbelievable Gwenpool, which is her first comic series, issue number 0 of Unbelievable Gwenpool, is a collection of the 3 Howard the Duck comics, which was her first appearance as a character, plus her Christmas special, so I'd start there. Gwenpool's holiday special, which Love Unlimited, 43 to 49. Rocket Raccoon and Groot, numbers 7 to 10. Gwenpool Strikes Back. I can't say it was my favorite, but it was pretty fun. But I don't know. That was alright. West Coast Avengers number 1 from 2018. That's when Gwenpool joins Kate Bishop, Clint Barton, America Chavez, and Kid Omega on the West Coast Avengers. So that is all I have on Gwenpool. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this breakdown and what other characters I should look into for Pride Month. I have a whole bunch lined up, so can't really ever have too many. With that being said, have a marvelous day.